Are you ready? So when I'm doing teaching work for the kitchen, there's a boundary right here. There's the first step that I do this. I actually teach them where the boundary is. So how I do this, I wait for her to come to it. I'm gonna mark before she goes over the line and then toss a treat behind her. What's gonna start to happen is she's gonna realize where the boundary is and she'll stop herself before I click. That's when she's figuring it out. It's just basically like anywhere from here, back. So in this moment, the click's not really rewarding much other than a natural behavior that's happening, but it's kind of acting as a positive interrupter. And what it's interrupting is her motivation to walk over the line. So her thought process to get to me, I'm pretty much blocking her from it. And the reason I'm throwing the treat behind her is I'm resetting her every time so that it's not just she's staying in position, I'm constantly feeding that. I want her to realize if she comes to the right spot and doesn't move, that is what. So she's already, I'm about right here is where I'm blocking her, if not a little bit before it. I love you. Yes, I do. We're gonna be besties. I'm excited. Good. So that time she's testing it. She stood back even further. I'm fine with that. As long as she's not coming closer. If she goes over that line that she's testing to figure out right now, I'm gonna walk into her. But she's so smart, I'm not having to yet. Yep. So that's what I mean by they're so sensitive. I'm barely walking towards her and she's responding and moving. Girl. And in this one, I'm letting my body do it. I'm just walking towards her. I'm not saying anything. I want this to be natural, that when I'm in the kitchen, if I don't want her in there, she needs to stay out. Girl. This will wear her out too. Nope. Good. I am strict about this. This is the line, this tile, or cracking the tile. Her foot's even a little bit over it. I'm walking into her. Because she's going to be the type that she's going to push and push and push to see how much she can get away with. Good girl. To get what she wants. There's the click. You get a bunch for that. So moments when you can tell she's figured it out, I jackpot. That just means more than one treat. You don't have to mark more than one time. She got a whole handful because that was really good. Girl. Nah. Girl. Do you see her foot? She's testing it. Back. Good. So this is what I mean by spatial pressure. It's just walking towards her. But there's a bubble around her, there's a bubble around me. So I'm not having to rush into her bubble. There's some dogs I do have to do that with, but she's so sensitive. Did you see how fearful she just got because I rushed quickly? She tensed up, her ears got kind of back. She's like, I don't like that. Her eyes got tight too. So you don't need to do much with her. Like even this, if I go too far forward and I see she's coming, I just take like a half step to a step towards her. I keep my hands up so they're neutral. They're not like down and about. I'm not accidentally cueing her because that happens. Nope. Good. And I'm just slowly testing her by going further. You figuring it out? Yeah. Good girl. As you advance with her learning, so I'm not constantly doing the same thing. I'm adding more and more difficulty to it to avoid her getting frustrated. But when she tries to go over it, a little bit further back, I'm not going to mark. Now my mark's changed. I want to be able to go back to wherever I was standing before she moved and her not to move for a few seconds before I mark that. And then I'm going to toss a treat from here. Just to keep her, no matter where you are in the kitchen, she's supposed to stay over there. Nope, out. I'm gonna start adding a vocal to it, which is just out or out of the kitchen. Good. Think in slow motion when you do this, but when I'm walking into her, I'm controlling my inner energy as well. I say that I'm becoming a boss bitch, because that's what keeps in my head. I'm like, I'm a boss now. But she's gonna respond to that. So when I'm walking into her, I'm doing it with purpose. It's not just, I'm walking towards you. She didn't even move. But if I do it with purpose, she reads that energy change, and that's why she gets out of the bubble. Now, the biggest part with that, I'm not like sternly going into her. I don't want to add any kind of correction to it, but I want her to realize when I walk into you, you need to move. Or diffuse and sit. That was good too. She's in the sand. Nope. Nope. Good. Good. So what you just were talking about, she just did. She's doing it for attention. It's like she read your mind. That's usually what happens. Someone will be like, oh, what if they do this? And then they start doing it. And I'm like, oh, here we go. That was perfect. So in that moment, I did not mark her for getting her paws down. I waited for her to throw out a behavior she knows, so she laid down. Then I clicked and fed, like, okay, good. Because now she's still looking at it. So even in this moment, anytime that they're looking at, you can just, the more you watch her, the more you can really figure out what she's thinking. So even that, she looked up there, her front end started to move like she was gonna jump up. I just quickly got in her way and blocked it. So this is doing two things. In this moment, this facial pressure is actually a correction. It's a very healthy, just bodily correction. And then she learns that doesn't get the reward she wants. Being polite on the ground does. And I'm quick about it, because if I notice she's gonna jump, you wanna get her off that counter as fast as you can, otherwise she's rewarded the longer she's up there. If she ever gets anything from the counter, she's just rewarded herself for a while, and that's gonna increase, so you gotta be more strict about it. No, back up. Come in. Good. So even that moment, she was kind of struggling to move because she's getting tired. But I didn't like move, I didn't rush into her. I extended my knee a little bit to kind of give her an extra nudge to stand up and move. I watch the front shoulders often because that's where all their power and their movement is. So even right now, I'm not marking her. She's leaning as far forward in that sit that she can, which means she's very easily able to get up and come towards me versus that kind of sit. Nope. Are you getting tired? I think you're getting overtired.